long time ago there lived a king and a queen who were well and truly loved by those they ruled. But in spite of having all that money could buy, there was one thing above all else that they did not have that they very much desired, and that was a child of their own. As years passed, they had become more and more sad about it. One day, as the queen was bathing in a pool, a strange thing happened. A frog popped out of the water and landed on a leaf next to her and said, "O Queen, be happy, for within a year your dearest wish will be fulfilled." The queen thought she must have imagined it, but within a year, true to the frog's prediction, the queen bore a child. The king and queen were so full of joy that they declared it a holiday so that all might rejoice in their wondrous news. The kingdom would celebrate with a great feast. The king invited guests from far and wide, and of these the most important were 6 fairies, who had the power to bestow great gifts upon the child. When the guests had sat down for their feast in the great hall, the 6 wise fairies then, each in turn, gave their gifts. The first said, "She shall blossom full and fair, with beauty that's beyond compare. As well as being fair of face, she'll be endowed with natural grace. She will sing and dance with ease, and everyone she meets will please. She'll see the world through knowing eyes, and grow up to be truly wise." The 5th fairy then said, "With wit and charm she will beguile all those upon she'll choose to smile." Suddenly a most terrible thing happened. A 7th fairy appeared. She had been forgotten by all for a long time. In fact, most thought she had died.
"Am I not a worthy guest to be invited to your feast to celebrate this happy time for which you've waited so long?"
"1,000 apologies, madam, if in haste of our celebrations we have made an oversight. Let it now be in the past, and please, be welcome."
"Then perhaps I might also add my blessings to this baby and make it a celebration that no one will forget. You would not invite me to the feast, but I have come just the same, and I brought a gift. On her 15th birthday, she will prick her finger on a spinning wheel and she will fall down dead."
At that moment the 6th fairy stepped forward and said, "Cry not, my queen, for I have yet to bless the child, and though my powers cannot undo the evil spell cast on her, I can make it so that she merely falls asleep for 100 years. The fairy then said, "Princess, blessed with many virtues, evil spells now cannot hurt you. 100 years to you will seem a passing moment in a dream. You will awaken with a kiss to fulfill your life of bliss, and what the evil spell has cast will be forgotten in the past." But the king, fearful of the spell, made a proclamation there and then that all spinning wheels were to be banned from the kingdom henceforth. The years passed, and the king and the queen found great joy in their child, and all who knew her loved her. The princess had never been told of the fearful spell laid upon her, but on the 15th anniversary of that day, the king forbade the princess to stray from the castle. In a playful mood, the princess teased her guardian with a game of hide-and-seek, hiding first here, then there, till at last she found herself in the topmost room of the castle, a room that she had never visited before. She went to hide behind the dusty tapestry, and there noticed a small door, just the place to hide. Behind the door was a room, and inside was an old lady dressed in a shawl and working with something that the princess had never seen before, a spinning wheel. "What are you doing, old woman?" asked the princess.
"I'm spinning, my dear, and waiting for you."
The princess stepped closer and touched the spindle, which pricked her finger. She was taken to her room and laid on a bed of flower petals. It was at this moment of grief that the good fairy appeared once more, and with a wave of her hands cast a spell over the whole castle and its grounds. The fountain stopped as if frozen, the flames of the fire remained motionless, the steam from the kettle stayed in the air as if painted, and the page boy's sneeze was stifled for 100 years. The briars, brambles, and vines grew to shroud the castle from view and form a barrier to all who would trespass in it. It was truly a mystery to those who lived nearby, but time passed and its mystery became part legend, part myth, oft told to children at bedtime. Now, one of those children was the son of the king who ruled a neighboring kingdom. He grew to be a handsome prince and often hunted in the fields and woods that surrounded the old castle. One day, in pursuit of a stag, he found himself by the briars and brambles of the castle. Seeking the stag within the tangled mesh, he took his sword to cut a path through the branches, and then, much to his astonishment, a path opened in front of him. As if led by some invisible hand, the prince ascended the stairs and found himself by a half-open door. He peeped in. Then, gazing through the dim-lit room, he saw the princess. Her beauty was such that just to gaze upon her made him fall madly in love with her. He gently kissed her, and at that moment the spell was broken. She smiled as though she knew him, as of course she did from her dreams. The palace immediately became alive as though not a fraction of time had passed, and all was as it was before. The prince took the princess for his bride, and she became the much-loved queen of the fairies' predictions. Her fairy gift stood her in good stead, and one day she had children of her own. Being wise and loved, she never forgot to invite anyone to celebrations.